part of the reason for this is that I realised last night, looking through some sort of tourist advertising stuff, that there's a village called Cahors, just off the route into Cahors, half an hour or so, but in the other direction. But it's supposed to be France's #1 village, which is a doubtful tag to have to live up to, but because of its position, the architecture, much of which is medieval apparently, and it seems to be a pity to go within a stone's throw of this village, which could possibly be awful, but I think not if I'm there in reasonable time, and at this time of year it's got to have something going for it. And leading on from that thought, I looked at the map, and the one of the alternative GRs, of which there are a number around here, leads up back onto the original GR 65 at a place called Conclot, where there is a gîte, which is about 5 hours plus walking from here, which would make a reasonably leisurely sort of day. And I could in fact arrive in Cahors tomorrow for the good old 65, which would be quite a nice way of doing things. That's a thought anyway. If it had been pouring with rain, there's a bus from the village Cahors, to which I'm now walking down towards, into Cahors, and I thought, well, the hell, if it's raining, I'll take that. There are a couple of buses, one about 10:30, one about 2 o'clock, I think. So I could still go to Cahors and come back and get a bus if I want to. I'll see. I think I've got to see this village now. I was just trying to think what village in England would be voted #1 village, or #1 place. I mean, I can think of numerous candidates, but there's Ironbridge and Castle Combe and places like that. Construct your own list. I suppose the other thing is that I actually seem to have got into a rhythm, a daily rhythm, the last few days. There's a sort of rhythm I think I could keep up for week after week. But I have had the advantage of a shower in the evening and a roof over my head, and no distractions of big towns. It's all been fairly regular. And there's the river still with me, rippling along below. And the cliffs, once again, towering up above me. The white, almost white cliffs. The road squeezed in between. Cahors 29, I suppose that is. Perfect slug weather, this. Damp, moist, and they're all over the road. Many of them squashed. Not bad mushroom weather either. It must be getting close now to appearing. then the French would go mad. The big fungi hunt. I remember this time last year, or it was a little bit later in fact, leaving La Domaine Sauvage, and probably it was a Sunday. There seemed to be coachloads of people trading around with plastic bags in their hands, searching for various edible fungi. There was a squirrel there, red almost to black, and they're definitely smaller than the grey squirrel variety. Surprised I haven't seen them on fishing on this river. There must be fish in there. I just seen some jumping. Good fish as well, I'd have thought. I heard a voice calling there, saying hello. At least it sounded like that. And these cliffs echo it and bang it out a second time. A bit like Lawrence wandering through the valley and the cliffs of the Rhum. There it goes again. There are a couple of cars parked, so maybe there is someone fishing. Sunday morning, spot of fishing. I noticed that you can buy a ticket for fishing in Cabaret. There was a sign. The next village is where the sail meets the lot, which is quite an exciting thought. It is if you've been following one of them for several days. And Lot is like Big Brother to the sail. Fishermen. Three of them there, at least. Their voices coming up from the cave of the river below. Not the easiest fishing, in fact, because the banks on both sides are crowded with foliage. So you wouldn't be able to get the swing at at anything with a fly. I'm not sure what they would be fishing with, but not easy to cast anything. I felt hopeful and positive this morning when I woke. It's because of the way things have been going on the walk the last few days. Hopeful and positive about what I'm going to be doing at the end of this month. And potentially what a privilege it is in a way. Or what a chance. Something different and have it paid. What could be better? It started me thinking about the depressions that I've had on this trip, and sense of loss, failures, and also the impossibility of managing the Welsh thing, but mainly the personal things which seem to have gone wrong, and which surface on a long walk like this, when I'm totally on my own, no one else to talk to, in a foreign land where I don't understand all the language. It throws you very much in upon yourself, and throws up what's there. And I think those things that it throws up are the kind of things that I try and cover with too much drinking and much travelling. The distractions from questions that have been unresolved and in a sense never will be. The chuck of doors plunging from the cliff, jackdaws, just the sort of cliffs they like. On my way back this time, I think I'll forget the left bank and the Marais and Notre Dame area, and this time I went up to Montmartre and round there, find somewhere up there if I can. It's silly to go to the same area every time. Oh, the other area possibly to go would be Republic, Place de la Republique round there, which is where I first stayed when I first went to Paris. At least I think it was the first time I went to Paris. It was that Canadian group. The extraordinary impact it made, the sense of being let free and let loose, which was hardly surprising after 10 years of private school, and then a summer spent working entirely on my own on the farm, on my own most of the time, that is. suddenly to be transported to one of Europe's most exciting and beautiful cities, and thrown into the company of about 50 young people of my own age, about the same, but of a different nationality. So there was a double culture shock going on. And I loved it. This is the road junction anyway. One direction, Sec-la-Popie, which is 5 kilometers. And the road to Cahors, and the other way to Cahors, 28 kilometers to Cahors. So decision time. Let's have a look at the map, I think. Good. We've got to go to Boozy, which I fancied going to anyway. I like the idea of Cabaret and Boozy being adjacent villages. Might get a hot chocolate and a croissant there. Here comes a train. Just about to cross over this iron bridge across the lot. That must go to Figeac, I suppose. Or Cahors. There's just one coach long. That is a branch line. And past me, I look at them with pride. An English car towing an English caravan with a GB on the back. I'm just crossing the lot now, which must be 50 yards wide, to enter La Bouzie. And the waters are wide and calm and reflective. You can see the silhouettes of the trees and the clouds and the gaps between the clouds and the cliffs. It's a suspension bridge, just wide enough for a small car, but certainly not a lorry. And Boozy looks very peaceful and not at all boozy. Rural. There's a hotel there with a lawn leading down to the river, and a lady sitting on a seat by the river reading her book. Or is she writing a postcard? It's all very serene, very calming. I think I might see if I can get petit déjeuner at the hotel. I really fancy croissant and hot chocolate. I've done 7 kilometers or something without anything this morning. And I think definitely I'm going to walk along to Sec-la-Popie, which means putting off Cahors until Monday. I've just left the hotel restaurant where I had my petit déjeuner, chocolat et croissant, overlooking the river, and pears going on the trees below me, and the lawn, and everything this morning is really delightful in this spot. I'm just about to start walking along the river now, beside the river, towards Sek, and the path leads through poplars and beside meadows that are still heavy with dew, and there's still that freshness in the air, and the weather can't make up quite what it's going to do, but the cloud seems to be reforming and then breaking and then reforming, but it seems to be breaking up again now. The sun's out and there are shadows and sunlit places, and over there the cliffs again still, and beyond me to the east more high cliffs, and there's no hurry today. There's probably only about 4 hours walking left. But tomorrow will be a proper one. If I stay at the Gîte in Concote, it'll be a full day's walking. 7 or 8 hours maybe. But it'll be nice to arrive at Cahors on the pilgrim's route. I'm pleased about that. Literally right underneath the cliffs now, walking along a path, a narrow path, and the river just below me. In fact, I almost have to duck to get under this cliff section. I wonder if this was specially hewn out. It must have been, I suppose. How nice it would have been if I'd borrowed that boat. Where was it? Somewhere up near Estang, or I can't remember now. But I was itching to take that boat and just get in and glide down river. None of the walk, or the rest of the walk wouldn't have been done, but something Arthurian about that. And it's good to feel the warmth of that sun again after yesterday getting damp and seeing grey. This path is literally a ledge now along by the river. It's supposed to be a small road that goes somewhere along this way. I can't see where. To La Popie. That's not my problem though. There's a little bit of graffiti on the cliff, the stone of the cliff here underneath this overhang that I'm walking along, and how like the cave paintings, say at Lascaux or wherever, for someone 10,000 years from now, and when they see Daniel and Christiane, 1987, I send you these words for messengers, the way I cannot pass along. And there's the ash of a fire there. It would be a fine place to shelter or stay the night. Completely protected. The river flowing by. have been cut out of the rock down to the river. Oh my goodness, here's something. Chantier de sculpture, commune de Bouzy, reprise d'Estravo été 87, sculpt Dimonier. And he's done some really lovely sculptures out of the rock, rather like an enlarged wood block where someone has gouged out the wood. They're really very nice too. There's a whorled shell, 2 shells, a nesting bird, another bird, a copy of a fossil shape, and a beautiful non-figurative abstract carving, which I think actually is not, it is figurative, it's a fish, but beautifully done, lovely flowing line. Well done, D. Monnier. I appreciated your work. It must have taken a long time too, that. This is very interesting. We've got the equivalent of a lock here. The lock gate is smashed and gone, and the lock is silted up. So presumably there was a channel driven through. We'll see when I go further along the path. And iron bollards for tying up. There must have been barges did come up the lot and the Dordogne and the Tarn. I think I can't remember what the cargoes were now. It's all in Frida white. Probably bringing wine up and taking wood down, that sort of wood or nuts or agneau, mutton. Following the channel of this, it's like a mill race, an enlarged mill race. But why did they bring it along here, that's all. So I'd like to know. The sound of rushing waters ahead, which must be a weir or something, or rapids, and that may account for this lock. A small bypassing canal, perhaps. That's probably what it was. Maybe going to Cirque. It's a pity. This may be where the lot. This is probably where the lot joins the sail. I wish I could see it. I'm not sure whether it's a junction point, but there's a weir, probably 200 or 300 yards across here, and the bypass canal comes in above. I should think it's something to do with the logistics of navigable waters. I think the canal, the weir must be man-made. I don't think it's the junction with the sail, or is it? I can't see where it comes in, if it is. And the beautiful colours from the cliff, the oranges and the greys, and the yellows and tans, and there's sort of the pastel shades dipped into the river. And if you look at the reflection, the river reflection, it's like looking at the face, the west face of a cathedral, the decorated end. Beautiful. You're back on the road now. And a good thing too, really, because we just begin to get bogged down in a mass of vegetation, particularly a tall candelabra-headed type plant, as high as me. I think someone had been determined to keep to the riverside and had forged ahead through this stuff, and like sheep we follow, but it obviously wasn't the right path. Apart from anything else, I was getting drenched with the dew, which is still hanging about, particularly in the shaded parts. If we are ultimately alone, which certainly we are in the sense of apart from other people, and if also we are alone because there is no God, and we are given a choice of where to be, what to be doing with our solitariness in infinity. One or two of the moments on this walk would be worth accepting as a choice. It's very fine this morning. There's a sort of sense of timelessness. I was walking towards this avenue of poplars and sunlight coming through, and the sense of something having been achieved. I'm totally relaxed about the thing now. Now I've done it. That would do for a start. For want of something better to say when I meet a stranger, I try the old English tactic of the weather, and just met a man wandering along with his dog who rushed straight towards me. I thought, oh God, here we go. And then pulled up suddenly just short of my ankle. Il jouait, the fellow said, and he was right. Don't be afraid. And then I step in with my customary "C'est beau, oui, aujourd'hui." It seems to work over here just as well as it works over in England. Yes, we've got some climbing to do now. I thought so. There is Cirque la Popie way above us, at the height of the cliffs, and the path takes up through these woods now. So we say goodbye to the river and en haut. And this place beats Rocamadour into second place, incidentally, which must take a bit of day. I'm about halfway up this cliff path now. La Pop certainly has an impressive position. High, several hundred feet, directly sheer above the lot, a bend in the lot. And the buildings are timber framed, mostly, all restored, but reasonably tastefully. I'm right on top of what I take to be the fortress section, and I can look eastwards up the valley of the lot, which is green fields and trees and hills on either side, but not the narrow, confined cliff-type gorges that I've been coming down through the later stages of the sail. I think it gets, from now on, downriver. The cliffs begin for the lot, but not upriver. It's gentle country going up there. It's inevitably a tourist spot. There's a sort of coachload brigade here. Even today, what it's like in mid-season, I dread to think. But it's manageable today. And pleasant with it, really. How you decide what is the premier village of any country, God knows, but this has certainly got a lot going for it. No life, no vital force, of course, just trinket shops and a couple of cafes. I think I can see a patisserie. Existing entirely on the tourist trade, which is what demotes any village in my theory of grading, but nothing should become a museum that can be called a village. So that's what this is. But as I said, today it's quiet, not too overrun, and pleasant to be here. A beautiful mullioned window there. It's all pan-tiled, red tile, pan-tile, faded. Tie beams, leaning houses, fun little windows askew, wooden framed, like doll's house windows. And now in the church. Beautiful and simple, a nice surprise. Also much bigger than I would have thought it could possibly be on a site like this, which is very cramped and confined. It's lovely and large and high. There's a southern eastern transept, but not a northern. Beautiful flagged floor, uneven, different size slabs. All very simple, which is, I must say, I think the feature I like most about these Romanesque churches is this Gothic Romanesque, I think. And always these carved wooden figures, either painted or not. There's a little group here, Joseph and Jesus, I suppose. Jesus. Yeah. They seem to like those. And the inevitable candles burning. But practically nothing else. Even the chairs have been removed from the aisle. remains of wall paintings, fragments. Just leaving La Pop and British number plate supplied by so-and-so of Petworth, Sussex. Had lunch in the perfect position. I put it in the diary anyway. Couldn't have been better. One of those unexpected bonuses. It should have been an awful place. The lunch was, I just had a salad composé, just a salad, and some bread, and a glass of white wine. But such a magnificent position on just the right day. 9 times out of 10, it would have been dreadful. And so the surprises are now climbing up out of the village, narrow and rocky little path, and we're back with the pilgrims' crosses, which is very comforting now, I must say, seeing them. And do they go all the way to Spain? Sure, I suppose they do. It's another very, very impressive thing, I think. And the next stop is Concord, which according to my book is 2.5 hours away, which could be 4 to 5 now. I think once I reach the top of this height, it'll be a sort of coast country. I've got no provisions really. No wine, no bread, nothing solid to eat. But it says also in the book that there are cafes and hotels in Concord, so I just have to take their word for it. But they're not always right. You can pick out the fields of tobacco now. It's a light green as against the maize or sweet corn, which is a darker green. And there's a lot winding away below me, and the road to Kajak. The whole idea of the pilgrim is interesting to me. I remember as a boy, though not understanding it fully, and only very slightly, being somehow very impressed by Pilgrim's Progress. One of those fortunate things that one had to read at school, but it's stuck. It's in my mind, lodged there somewhere. And any account of any pilgrimage would have to take into account Bunyan's version of the journey. And the burden, metaphorical and literal. mental and physical. I think the earlier pilgrims, rather, used to treat every hill as a Calvary, which in a practical way it probably is. I'm just trying to climb out of this village, La Pop, and there's a cross every so often. There's regular stations, which is presumably what they're supposed to represent, as they did when I came out of Noyak, and each one has been decorated not very long ago with sprigs of greenery. So there are those who have been along before me and also found it hard going. As presumably Christ did, lugging a bloody great wooden cross. I thought there had to be a reason for it. A little chapel at this stage, and a sort of triumphal cross about 10 times bigger than anything else. But this little chapel seems to be closed, which really shouldn't be. Why is that? I know what the state of the others are like, but yes, very neat and tidy inside. Rush matting before the altar and flowers on the flowers in vases on the altar. Wicker chairs in the little aisle. I'm not sure whether I prefer to see them like that, closed and